Hi, this is Stephen Morehouse, the Class of 73 AFS Exchange student, talking to you from Melbourne, Australia, which is a city of about 5.2 million people, and you can see our downtown skyline behind me. Between our apartment and there, you can see a lot of parklands, which includes our big football and cricket stadium, which holds about 100,000 people, the National Tennis Centre, where the Australian Open tennis is played, and various other sporting facilities, most of which were involved in the 1956 Olympics. When I was at Raytown 50 years ago, I was more involved in the social activities and scholastic activities, but I did participate in the school newspaper and a couple of the clubs, which obviously were different for me, coming from an educational background where we didn't have clubs and didn't have sport within the school environment. What I remember about being at Raytown for my 1 year is the absolute difference in the culture of America, which some people would say is very similar to ours, but isn't, and the life of an American high school student, which is very, very different to that which we have here, where we go to school for uniforms. Schools are much smaller, and we generally do things quite differently. I think back on how my time in Raytown has impacted my life. It's been significant. It's provided another community to a certain extent for me and my family. We've been backwards and forwards in excess of 20, maybe 25 times. So we have formed quite an association with not only the Stokes family, but Coatneys and other people around the school. The opportunity to be surrogates for Greg and Debbie Coatney's son Joe and family when they lived in Australia was something that we enjoyed and got immense pleasure out of. So to say that Raytown impacted our life, or my life, and by extension my family's, is somewhat of an understatement. It had a significant impact on us. After I came back from America, I became a CPA and still have a small practice, semi-retired from that. Still involved in a couple of other small businesses here in Melbourne, and Anne and I have been married for 46 years and have 2 children in their mid to late 30s, and Stephanie has 2 grandsons. We do a lot as a family, very family orientated, and Stephanie's sport of gymnastics and Anne's singing with Sweet Adelines are 2 of the reasons we've made a number of trips backwards and forwards to America over the years. In all, it's been a very enjoyable and rewarding time.
My name is Gail Napier. I participated in anything that they would let me in high school. If I could think about anything that says Raytown still impacts my life today, it would be just keeping that camaraderie with old friends. And I remember that we were a good group and we were extremely spirited, and that we had lots of dances and really good music. It was fun. After school, I pretty much stayed in the same spot, still in the Raytown School District. All 3 of my daughters went to Raytown High School, and now I have a grandson who starts there in the fall. I'd say a shout out to Thomas Cahill that get that lighter ready.
Hello to my classmates from Raytown High School, class of 1973. My name is Dan Blevins. In school, I played bass clarinet in the concert band all 3 years and ran track our senior year. Otherwise, I was a spectator in a lot of the activities that went on around school. I have so many wonderful memories from high school and very few negative memories. Raytown High School in general was a great time for me. Things that really stand out are graduation night with all of us in our blue and white caps and gowns, lined up in the hallways at the RLDS auditorium waiting to march in. I remember feeling a sense of excitement for that moment and for the future, but also as I watched classmates milling about, I had a nostalgic awareness or sadness almost that I was seeing many of the people I'd grown up with for the last time. And it was indeed the last evening I ever saw many old friends. I remember having fun at all the football and basketball games, band trips, and other school activities, and the time spent with so many good friends. Regarding things that impacted me from high school, during our sophomore year, I worked 48 hours a week outside of school, throwing the Kansas City Times in the morning and the Kansas City Star in the afternoons. The newspaper truck would pick me up at my house at 1:45 a.m. every morning and drop me off back at my house around 6:30 a.m. with enough time to shower and get to school. I had to walk at that time because I was too close to get a bus pass. At 2:45 p.m. when the last bell rang, the paper truck would be waiting for me in front of the school on Blue Ridge Boulevard, and we would throw the afternoon papers, and then I would get home around 6:30 p.m. The point of all this is that I remember being so exhausted at school every afternoon, but sometimes out of challenging times, nice things can happen. I had Mrs. Barlow for sophomore English for fifth hour, and my drowsiness and lack of attention in her class must have caused her some concern. When she found out about my work schedule, there were a couple of times when she took me to the teacher's lounge to a lost and found storage area that was connected to the lounge and let me take short naps on some of the unclaimed coats and jackets that were piled there. I've always appreciated the fact that she had that much concern for my well-being, and I hope that that has had a positive effect on how I now have treated people during my lifetime. After high school, I meandered through life for several years, and in 1984, I finally received a bachelor's degree in chemistry from UMKC. I worked as a lab chemist for a couple of years before transitioning to information technology, eventually specializing in cybersecurity, where I've been for most of my career. I'm still working and plan to work a couple more years as long as my health is good and as long as I continue to enjoy my work. I grew up in a house at 59th and Harris, right behind Raytown Junior High School and Raytown High School. My wife Carol and I bought the house I grew up in from my mom when she retired. When our three kids were in grade school and kindergarten, we moved to a house in the Raytown South District, so all three of our kids graduated from Raytown South. Carol and I have 3 children and now 5 grandchildren, and they are the greatest thing in my life. Thanks, take care.
Hi, my name's Brenda Tofu, but back in high school, everyone knew me as Brenda Tudor. I can't believe it's been 50 years, but here we all are. The things I remember about high school is I participated in yearbook, so at some point, I put everyone's picture with their name. I do not think I can do that now, but we will see. I did yearbook, Spanish club, pep club. It was all great fun. Things I remember from high school is I loved going to the Friday night football games, and then big group of us would go to the Fun House on 50 Highway in South Territory. It was great fun. I wish I could do it all again. The things since then, I've done a little bit of everything. I've been married. I've got 3 kids, 2 grandkids. I have done everything in careers. I worked in advertising. I worked in the hotel industry. I did 19 years at Blue Cross of Kansas City, and now I work for St. Luke's Health System. If I could give a shout out to somebody, I would say that I would give a shout out to my granddaughters. I wish they would hold on to every moment of high school, make the most of it all, because those are memories you treasure all your life, and the very reason I'm making this video. I can't wait to see everybody there. Happy 50.
Hello, class of 1973. I'm John Fawcett, same name as in high school. Quick background bio on me from the high school graduation period after. Graduated from the University of Missouri in 1978 in accounting. Went to work for about 38 years in the accounting profession. Retired from a company that many of you are probably familiar with, based in Kansas City, DST Systems, a few years ago. Found a wife that's put up with me for 38 years, Linda, and 3 children, Shannon, Jake, and Jennifer, ages 32, 30, and 27. So I'm feeling
pretty fortunate in those regards. Grandparent once and about to become one again. High school. Activities in high school for me, outside of the things that all of us had to do to get diplomas, were really primarily in two areas, sports and in speech and debate. And kind of segue into a couple of shout outs I wanted to make in those regards. I'd really kind of, in hindsight, like to have done a better job of showing appreciation and shout outs for my two coaches. Clyde Thompson was the baseball coach, and Clyde passed away a couple of years ago, and he was very supportive of me. Quiet man, but was very supportive of me. And Coach Fulton was, as many of you will remember, a little bit of a different breed of cat, but she was a really nice lady, and again was very supportive and gave me great opportunities in the speech and debate arena. And those experiences have lasted with me in some ways through life. Sports I've always enjoyed. Speech and debate opened me to a whole kind of realm of activities and really a group of people that I hadn't had as much exposure and opportunity to spend time with and do things with, including not just the speech and debate team, but the people that were involved in related activities of drama and the dramatic aspects of the competitions that we participated in. Those were great experiences that I'll always remember. As far as thinking about what regrets I might have, and one of them pertains to speech and debate, but other than the regret I have that Denise Simmons moved away and that I never worked up the courage to ask out Donna Wheeler, the biggest regret I probably have from high school is that I didn't join the speech and debate team until my junior year. So I missed a full year, and I wish I'd gone ahead and done it all 3 years. I think I would have enjoyed it even more, probably would have gotten better at it. But anyway, it sticks as a great memory, but a bit of a regret that I didn't do that. Then otherwise, the other thing I wanted to mention just in terms of kind of those life experiences and the shout outs to make is kind of wanted to do a quick one on kind of the community of Raytown. I mean, I know Raytown has its drawbacks and had its drawbacks. We certainly weren't the most progressive community, certainly weren't the most racially open and integrated community. But as far as a place to grow up, and when I think back as we approach our 50th reunion, so much nostalgia and just what a great place it was, the activities of the parents, and it was kind of a Ward and June Cleaver neighborhood. It was all these really nice little homes that I was exposed to, and again, it wasn't the experience for everyone. I know I was fortunate in that regard, but it was really a safe place. It was an open place, a lot of kids out, everybody that I'm still friends with. We all talk about the neighborhood experiences we had, some of the mischief we got into, but just the old thing of being able to say goodbye to mom after you got home from school and come back 2 hours later for dinner and just not ever have to worry about safety and community. It was a pretty good place and a pretty nice open area, and it's changed a lot. I'm still over there some, and so it's like almost all communities have. It's not as opening and welcoming and just kind of an open landscape for kids to grow up in like it was at that time. So those are my main memories and the things that I recall. Again, thanks to Tom Scahill for letting me submit this late, and hopefully it'll eventually wind up in a bigger presentation. But big shout out to the class of 73. Looking forward to the reunion. Thanks.
Hi, this is Rick Riddle. I wanted to tell you all, glad you're here. I hope you're enjoying all the memories that are coming to the front of your head. These things happen every 5 years or so, and it's always a core group of people. I'll probably forget some, but the likes of Mary Jo Fuller, Tim Monsees, Gail Napier, Susan Rankin, Cindy Robinhead, Denise Smith. Carolyn Meredith has been involved a lot this year. There's a lot of other people. It's always a nice time to get together and try to organize this. We had a benefactor this year that we don't normally have. A classmate has put up the funds to pretty much pay for everything we have here tonight. So we've got a little cover charge at the door, and that hopefully will go toward getting some of his money back. And if you feel like giving a donation, that'd be really nice, and it'll go back to our benefactor. So have a good time. Nice to see you all.
Harry Mendenhall.
Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again.
Cindy Fee Landis, class of 1973, Raytown High School. And I'm ready for questions.
Cindy, what have you been doing since we've seen you in high school?
Well, kind of probably about the same stuff I did through high school, only I got paid a lot more for it. I made a career out of music. I sang many commercials, many records, had records of my own. Many of you know that I sang the theme song for the Golden Girls TV show. Thank you for being a friend. Along the way, lived in many different places, traveled all over the world, and have pretty much just had a very exciting life.
Cindy, didn't you sing with some really famous people?
I sang with everyone from Kenny Rogers, Dolly Parton, Whitney Houston. The list kind of goes on and on. I sang with a lot of people. It was wonderful
Lionel
to be able
Richie.
to sing music. Lionel Richie, thank you. Many different people.
But Cindy, I know who you sang with that made you the most proud. Family and children. Tell us about your family.
My family. I married a wonderful man, Rob Landis, who's taking this video. Not the one interviewing me, however. Taking this video. I have two wonderful sons who are in their early 30s that live in Chicago. We now live up in Michigan, the place that I've had a house for, 40 years, and finally moved up there out of Chicago during COVID, and just pretty much have a pretty great life, I would say.
Cindy, there's a rumor that you might be touring soon.
There is a rumor of that, and it's probably more than a rumor. I'm putting together a new show based on, well, it's not really based on the Golden Girls, but it's for the Golden Girls fans, because I don't know if any of you know that in the last few years they've started having conventions, and it's been pretty big and pretty huge. So there's going to be a show that I'm going to be touring with probably midwinter next year that is Cindy Fee, My Life in Music.
Cindy, we're at a wedding with friends from decades. Can we just get in the spirit and let it go? And thank you for being a friend.
Sure. Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant.
Bum, bum.
Woo! And if you threw a party, invited everyone you knew, you would see the biggest gift would be from me, and the card attached would say, thank you for being a friend. Woo! To my friends from high school that I'm so excited to see, we'll see y'all in a few months.
Hi you guys, Mary Jo Fuller Corso. It's been 50 years since we graduated. When I went to Raytown, I signed up for every club imaginable, but my favorites were Jaywalkers and Pep Pep. I remember going down to Smith Cotton on a bus, and it was absolutely packed, and we had the best time. The most humiliating things that happened to me is I lost or dropped my pom-pom the first game of the season. Very embarrassing. When I moved to Raytown in 6th grade, I went to chapel, and I still have lifelong friends from there. The majority of my friends came from Pittman. After high school, I went to Northwest Missouri State in Maryville with some of my friends, and it was a very good time. Yes, I married Vince Corso, class of 1970, and we had 3 children. I stayed home with the kids for 10 years and started working with Hallmark and was there for 22 years. Let's just have a great time and stay together. It's been a wonderful 50 years.
Irvin. My married name is Sugar, and what is something I remember from my years at Raytown was I was involved in a lot of clubs. I was involved in thespians and Spanish club and German club and National Honor Society, and so I remember, and I was in concert choir and girls glee, and I remember we had to go to competition in Warrensburg, Missouri, and we had to be at the school at 6 a.m. and so it was a very long day. We got back and I had a date that night, and my date took me to the Ice Capades, and I fell asleep. So that was really not very good. I hadn't been on too many dates with him, but he's now my husband, so we worked things out. So also we went, the German club went to the Mai Fest May of our senior year, and we had a great time there. Tom Sine was there, Carl Kenepaski, Tim Hall, Cheryl Wink, and Patty Brown, and so we really had a fun day. And that was one thing I remember from high school. And I also remember hanging out a lot with Pat Demme, and Pat was a really good friend of mine, and he got me a football jersey, and that was really fun. So also I remember the third floor of the high school. It was so hot up there. We had classes up there, and that was before air conditioning, and so I was glad we had mini dresses that we could wear and our hot pants that we could wear to school. They didn't have the measurement rule then, I don't think. So anyway, so I never got caught. But I also remember the boys sitting at the bottom of the stairs by the library and watching the girls go up the stairs who had dresses on so they could see under their dresses. They also liked to throw the cords of the Venetian blinds around the girls. And that stopped after they caught me one day. I went right to Mr. Hanks and said, this isn't going to happen anymore. And the next day they had teachers there. So sorry guys, that was my fault that nobody got to sit on that ledge and bench anymore by the stairs going to the third floor. Also, it was a big deal because we got to start wearing jeans to school. We didn't have to wear the dresses with slacks underneath anymore. So that was something that happened in the 70s. So great, a great change there. Also, I had milkshakes every day. I know on Facebook that's been the discussion. What did we have for lunch? I had a vanilla milkshake every day. That was my lunch. So now I'm married. I've been married 49 years. My husband and I are going to celebrate our 50th anniversary in January. He actually is from Pennsylvania. He was stationed here in the Marine Corps, and I met him my senior year. I dated him my whole senior year, and he took me to my senior prom. We have 2 children. One of them lives in Raymore. My daughter lives in Houston. My son's married and has 3 grandchildren. A grandson who's 16, grandson who's 14, and a granddaughter who's 9. My daughter's single, but she loves the last name Sugar because she's a dietitian. So anyway, so thanks so much for letting me share.
My name was, in high school, Donna Floyd. I am now Donna Floyd Kennedy. I went to work right after high school at the State Employment Office. I retired after 42 years of work, but I retired for the last 25 years. I worked at the Federal Reserve Bank of Kansas City. When I was in high school, I was in pep club, I was in chess club, I was in the drama club. One of the things I remember about the theater, they did Tea House of the August Moon, and I worked backstage, and they had a live goat, and one of my responsibility was to take care of the goat. I also was a cashier in the cafeteria. I helped in the nurses' office. I got married in 1976 to my husband, who and I have been married we've been married this coming May 47 years. And I'm one of those people who really like school. I was an average student, but I really like going to school because I really like the social aspect of it.
Hi, fellow Raytown 73 graduates. Can't wait to see you all in August. I'm Melanie Malott McNamara. I left the Kansas City area when I was 21, but I've been able to make it back to a lot of the reunions. I went to Chicago for 12 years and then on to Nashville, Dallas, Portland, Vancouver, Seattle, and Indiana. I have worked a number of years as an election administrator, and so I was very happy to retire in April of 2020 on my birthday when I turned 65 due to all the COVID and the political climate. I was really glad to retire. I'm having a good life. Not really what I expected, but is it ever? I loved attending Raytown High School and Pittman Junior and Northwood Elementary. I think it got me off to a really good start in life. We had good teachers. I felt safe and secure, and it was just a really good start. I also made friendships back then that have lasted for 50 plus years, and they're still very special to me. You all know who you are. I can't wait to see who shows up at the 50th reunion. See you soon.
Hi, Raytown High, class of 1973. You may remember me as Clark Nungester. Shortly after graduation, I got the nickname Moose while playing on a men's softball team, and it just stuck. My friends call me Moose, and my grandkids call me Moose Paw. While at Raytown High, I was in sophomore choir and the men's choir for 3 years. I was manager of the football team my junior and senior years, and I was also on the 1973 intramural champion basketball team. One of my favorite memories of my high school years was my 1966 Chevy Impala. I love that car, and it gave me the ability to go to activities that wouldn't have been possible otherwise. Before graduating from high school, I got a part-time job in the finance office of Jack Cooper Transport, and that led to my lifelong accounting career. While working full-time, I attended and graduated from Longview Community College and Rockhurst College with accounting degrees. For over 48 years, I was an accountant for various small construction firms in the Kansas City area, and I retired in 2021. My wife Pam and I have been married 47 years. We have 2 sons and 5 grandkids, all of whom live in the Kansas City area. Through the years, we have been landlords of rental properties, foster parents for 26 newborn babies, and active members of our church. We spent numerous weekends at the Lake of the Ozarks, have taken several baseball spring training vacations, and my wife has even snuck in a few Caribbean cruise vacations. Okay guys, if you're wondering about this head of hair I'm sporting at the age of 67, no need to be jealous. It's just a cap full of flare hair that makes me think I still have hair. I joined the bald crowd when I started wearing this new headgear. This is a device called Optune that I wear for treatment of brain cancer, along with doing radiation and chemotherapy. We became fast friends 9 months ago, and so far, we're getting along pretty good. Now, if you're paying attention to the different backgrounds in this video, you may have figured out that I'm a sports collector. It's been a big hobby for the last 50 years. Before Google and eBay hit the scene some 25 years ago, a buddy and I had a side business called Champion Sports Collectibles for a handful of years. We organized sports collectible shows in the metro area and also attended shows where we could buy, sell, and trade all kinds of sports collectible items. But the thing that makes me the most proud are my sons, Kyle and Kirk. They are amazing young men with good careers, friends, and families. And they grew up loving my baseball passion. They truthfully sometimes just humored me through it. But here's where it pretty much started for them when they were 4 and 7 years old. That was their entire combined sports collection back in 1992. They played different sports through the years, but baseball was their favorite. I wish I would have just kept track of how many games they played, starting with T-ball, then Little League, and American Legion. They played on competitive traveling teams, on their high school teams, and they both played college baseball. We traveled many fun places and made a lot of memories along the way. So now that my man cave and all of our storage areas are full of memorabilia, I'm not actively buying and selling things any longer, but I do have spare time to spend at the Royals games. For the last 5 years, I've been a guest ambassador at the K. If you ever go out to a game, you've probably noticed the people in bright orange shirts outside and inside the entrance gates interacting with fans. That's my team. So next time you're out there, see if you can spot the moose in the orange shirt and give me a shout.
Hi, I'm Debbie Morgan. Name is still the same as it was before. I was in marching band and then drill team, and I was drill team captain in my senior year, 1973. And I can still remember the drum cadence and the swish of the pom-poms that we use. I will never, ever forget that. I find it funny that I was always kind of behind the scenes and not really involved that much in theater. And yet, by the time I graduated college, that's how I made my career. Not in front of the stage, but behind the scenes. So I have a degree in art from KU, but I went to San Francisco and got involved in lighting design for dance companies, which led to a job back here at what was then the Missouri Repertory Theater. Now it's Kansas City Repertory Theater. And they said, well, we don't have any room in the lighting department, but we have something in props and you have an art background. Would you like to do that? And I go, I don't know. I don't even know what it is. So sure, I'll take it. And I stayed there for 16 years. And then I left there and went to the Lyric Opera and totally changed courses. I was the prop master there for 26 years till I retired and did a lot of freelance work. So I like to say I spend my adult life shopping and spending other people's money. So it was a great life. So, and I still tap dance. That's it.
Hi, everybody. In high school, I was known as Elaine Meek, my stepfather's name. Not a good look. I went by Adams the rest of my life. Not sure about what all I participated in. I know I was in a couple of plays. I know I sang. High school is kind of a blur for me. It wasn't the best of times, but I survived. I made some friends in high school that carried me through. People that I knew would be there for me no matter what. Just a couple, but that's really all you need. And I've stayed in contact with those people all this time, and they're very special to me. So I'm really grateful to Raytown High School for that. I don't mean to sound whiny. I just was gone at semesters, so I missed out on prom and senior pictures and a lot of other things like that. But it was not a bad experience, just not as great as it was for some, I guess. I have to say I came into my own when I went to college. I finished a master's degree in behavioral psychology. I actually met B.F. Skinner and am proud to be his intellectual great-grandchild. Worked in the field of autism when nobody knew what it was, and then I decided that wasn't for me, and I became a chiropractor, which I was very happy doing for the next 30 years. I'm now a retired full-time RVer. I'm currently in Pahrump, Nevada, which is just outside of Vegas. As you can see, it's not a bad place to stay. And life is good. Been married for 40 years, 2 kids, 2 grandkids, and looking forward to seeing everybody at the 50th. Thank you, Mary Jo. Thank you, Tom. Thank you for everybody who's participated in this. I appreciate it.
fellow Blue Jays. It's Delilah Mathia here. I was known as Delilah Woodcock in high school. I married my husband Bruce in 1974. We were married for 44 fabulous years. We were blessed with 2 children. My daughter Sarah is now chair of the art department at Bethany College in Lindsborg, Kansas. She teaches 3D animation and game design and jewelry making. My son is a computer tech here locally. Both are single and very happy. I have worked for Disney. I worked at this local school district. I did retail management. I did aerobic instruction for a while. Life has been good. I currently travel and garden and just have fun. That's what life's about, right? I hope life has been good to you all.
Hi, I'm Terrell Meredith. That's my name was in high school. I was in Pep Club during school. What I enjoyed was what I remember, music I remember was Old Chicago. Is it Old Chicago or is it just Chicago? I don't know. That impacted me during school was my math teacher, Mr. McCormick. I had him for 2 years, and that pushed me on to do my accounting work and get my degree in accounting. I have 2 kids, 1 granddaughter. What else did I put down here? I live in Independence. I went back when I was 40 to get my degree, and very difficult. And I'd be glad to see everybody.
My name is Jamie Reese. I, of course, graduated in '73. Played a little sports when I was in school. And I tell everybody that I could see that we grew up in the best place, in the best time for kids. I mean, we just ran the neighborhoods and, you know, something we did that our kids couldn't do. I played football and basketball and baseball, golf, all my life. I dated a few girls, and that was my high school. I can't wait for the 50th. I think it's going to be so much fun seeing everybody you haven't seen, and hopefully a lot of people come. And, you know, at that age we can tell lies and nobody will know that we're lying or not. So it's a good time. I had 2 girls, and Karen had a daughter, my wife. Then I got 5. I got 4 girls, 4 grandkids, and 1 grandson. So I've been surrounded by women, all my 3 older sisters, 2 stepmoms, and I've been around women all my life. Terrible. That's it. I just really am looking forward to getting back with everybody and the 50th. My mom would have bet all the money she had that I'd never made it to my 50th reunion, so I'm all right.
Hello, this is Chris Blakemore. At Raytown High School, in our high school years, I participated in speech and debate. That was kind of my big thing and my moment to shine, if you will. Rose Fulton was our teacher. It was a first hour class, and she ran a loose ship. She didn't always care what time we got there, and sometimes we just didn't do anything in the class. It was the most fun class I ever had in high school. A couple of memories from that class. One time, Miss Fulton put us 4 of us in the closet for the speech and debate room with a video camera and told us to practice our debate. Instead of doing so, we decided to debate the topic of funding education through teacher prostitution. She said it was funny, but don't do it again. Something from high school that still impacts my life today, I think that class and that group of friends and those opportunities were really what kind of brought me out of my shell. I was a shy kid at the time. Since then, I've got living on Medina Lake outside of San Antonio with my wife of 45 years almost, Sheila. We have a couple of kids and a couple of grandkids and enjoying the retirement life. Final thoughts and shout outs, I guess 2. first, Rose Fulton, for that class and allowing a shy kid like me to come in and have some opportunities and shine. And secondly, to Kathy Parker for really being the one that helped push me out of my shell. So you all have fun tonight. Wish I could be there. So long. Bye.
High school, I was Denise Smith. I am now Denise Woods, married to Robert Woods for the last 15 years. I am blessed with 2 biological kids and 3 stepsons. In high school, I participated in pep club, and then I got out of high school in January in 1973 and went to work for Hallmark Cards. My impact on what happened to school is mainly now is I still have a lot of the same friends that I was blessed with in high school.
Hi to my Raytown High School friends from 1973. Yay! 50 years! The big deal. Anyway, this is Linda Diane Stewart, in case you've forgotten, but I do go by Linda Johnson, and that's how it is on Facebook, Linda D. Stewart Johnson. So thank you, and let's move on. Hey guys, here we are on my beautiful golf course. This is my home, and we're going to cover number 2. And that is, what did we participate in? Well, I participated in chorus, and I participated in the pep squad. That was a lot of fun, crazy times. And also drama. And Tom's going to say, drama, I don't remember you doing that, Linda. And I'm going to say, yes, I did do it, but it was for a short time. I got too nervous. I was always afraid to forget my lines. So there you have it. That's what I did, amongst other cantankerous things I did. All right, here we are. Now we're on number 3, and that is, what do I remember from Raytown High School? Well, I remember a lot of great things. I remember I had the hot plate special every day for lunch, and sometimes we'd sneak out for lunch and we'd go over to White's and get one of their fabulous cheeseburgers. And also, when I first went to Raytown my sophomore year, Linda Yount, which I'm sure you all remember, you know, being a upperclassman, she was trying to show me how to sneak out of class. And she took me down to the phone by the ladies' gym, or the girls' gym, and she said, just call in and act like your mom, which I did. And at the end of the call, the office said, well, that's okay, Linda, if you're sick, but you need to have your mom call in. And of course, I just hung up the phone. And at that point, I looked at Linda and said, well, what does that mean? What do I do? And she goes, that means run to the first hour class right now. And of course, at the same time, the bell by the gym was going off. So, you know, so much for that idea. So many stories, but let's move on. It's time to talk about what did I do after high school? Well, ultimately, through a few trials and tribulations, you just get into being an event planner. And that was my bag. I really enjoyed that. I have 2 beautiful daughters during that time. And then after 30 years living in Des Moines, Iowa, then we ended up moving down here to Tucson, Arizona. Love it. And I want to do the shout out to Annetta Weinshank. I remember some good times with her, driving around, and her mother bought us some things we probably should have been drinking. And then Terry Schrader. Remember that party at your house when Mom and Dad were out of town? Oh yeah. Well, let's get together and do another party sometime soon. How about that? All right, let's move on. I just want to thank everyone who put this together. You've done an amazing job. It's a lot of hard work and a lot of time. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. I applaud Tom and Mary and whoever else participated. And I look forward to seeing all of you. Go Raytown.
Hi, I'm Tom Scahill, or as I was known in high school, Tommy. But then after that, I was known as Tom. Then after that, I was known by just Scahill by my students. But now since I started this project, I'm back to Tommy Scahill. Just wanted to say that high school was an incredible experience for me. I was in plays, I was in the choir, I was in speech and debate tournaments and duet acting. I was on the newspaper, so I was always busy in high school, but I had a great time. And the most amazing thing about high school was working with all the people that I worked with. There was so much talent that, in looking back, I don't know how there was so much talent all at one school at one particular time. I worked with the best, and that was everyone between choir to duet acting to all the plays. Absolutely incredible. And the highlight was, of course, a comedy tonight that we did our senior year. When Tim Monsees came up with the question, what is something from high school that still impacts your life today? That was easy for me. That was Mr. Noel Fulkerson, who was the choir director at Raytown High School and put up with all my crazy ideas, and I just learned a lot from him. Later on in the 90s, he retired from Raytown High School, and I was invited back to kind of do a performance thing for him. And so I was able to do that, and it was a highlight. The evening was a highlight, performing for past Raytown High School kids, current Raytown High School kids, and all my friends at that time. It was a wonderful evening. But here's a quick snapshot of something that was in the performance dealing with Raytown itself that I thought was a kick. And so anyway, here it is, but it's also a big salute to the one and only Mr. Noel Fulkerson.
He travels northward to a little area called Raytown. Wow, those Raytown meadows sure are fair. Those Raytown woodlands are even fairer. And I think they would make a great song. Raytown. I want to wake up in a city that's always sleeping. Are melting away. I'll make the miraculous start of it in old Raytown.
And I have taken up more time than I should have. I just wanted to close by saying thank you to everybody that helped contribute to this video, and I am proud to be a member of the class of 1973, Raytown High School.
Hi, I'm Brenda Sherpatel, Brenda Coulter in high school. And back in the Raytown High School days, I was a joiner, still am. I participated in lots of things. Pep Club, National Honor Society, Spanish Club, Student Council. But where my heart was music and theater. And I'm sure that's, if you remember me, what you remember me for. The Raytown High School days were great. And I remember so much fun and trying new things, stepping out there. Tom Scahill would say, let's do this. And it's like, okay, sure, let's do it. And Mr. Fulkerson was so wonderful, giving all of us the opportunity to do different things. What I probably remember most are the contests, the different forensics, and my sophomore year we did Passionella, Tom and I together, and senior year we did Lady or the Tiger, and it was such a kick, and we did really well, and it made it so fun. I think as I look back on high school and the way it impacted my life, I learned in high school that it's to step out there, give it a try. It's not fatal to fail, but if you don't put it out there, then you don't know if you can. And I found I could do a lot together. The group, it was so much fun. And I took that with me. I was always comfortable to just go ahead and step out and give it a try. And if it worked, great. And if it didn't, well, try something else or try again. I also remember all of the smiles and the being cheered on, the village that we were. And now I spent most of my career in marketing in the for-profit world and then the nonprofit world. I've been married 45 years. I've got 2 great kids and 3 wonderful grandkids, and I live in Overland Park. But I've really enjoyed my life, and I do think that the years at Raytown helped with that. So as I wrap up, I want to say thank you to Tom Scahill for putting this massive project together, and to Mary Corso for all she does to keep us connected, and her hard work on the reunion too. And
We're Greg and Debbie Coatney from Raytown High School.
And I was Debbie Swan in high school. But I would say my biggest thing was I was in the pep club, so I went to every game, every track meet, everything. So.
I played football, ran track my sophomore year. Got into a band after that, and it was less painful being a rock star than it was playing football. So kind of went with that.
We're still together. I would say that was a big impact. I graduated from Warrensburg with a degree in social work. Worked for a couple of years for the Division of Family Services, and then we got married and started having kids. So we have 7 kids. We have 13 grandchildren.
I got a degree in business from UMKC and became a supply chain manager after some other jobs. Everybody come to Tip and Jay's on Thursday, 4th Thursday of every month. Have a good time.
Hey y'all, Shelley Allison Wells here. I can't believe it's been 50 years. Tom said to answer several questions, so that's what I'm going to do. Things I was active in high school included the French Club with Mrs. Heigl, the Science Club, Concert Choir, and Girls Glee Club. One of the things that I remember the most, or found to be the funniest, was working as the props person behind the curtain at A Comedy Tonight. Seeing some of those things, both in rehearsals and for the performances, were things that I just can't forget. One of the things I've taken with me from Raytown High is Noel Fulkerson's instructions on how to not be a breathy singer. Even to this day, when I hear people singing and they're all breathy, it drives me nuts. I am married. I'm living in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. My 3 adult sons still live in the Kansas City Lee Summit area. I've been a registered nurse for the last 40 years and spent the last 25 of those years in academics and academic leadership. I wish you all the best. Wish I could join you. Take care.
I'm David Green. Went through Raytown schools from my 3rd grade and went to Pittman Junior High with a bunch of the Raytown kids. And then I did my sophomore year and started my junior year there and moved away. And graduated from a high school in Tucson called Palo Verde. I played football and sophomore football team, and I ran track. And those were some of the most fun things I did at Raytown, especially the guys I ran track with. Education we got at Raytown back in those days, it was a pretty good education. It carried me. I'm really surprised anybody could teach anybody in high school. There's so many of us that were doing everything but learning. But you got a pretty good education out of the Raytown school systems back in that day. Most of us have lived life. We've done different things. We're all grandparents. Most of us are grandparents now. Some of us are going to be great-grandparents. So the things that you cherish from what you did when you were younger and those thoughts, they stay with you most of your life.